Besides the personal mode of WPA and WPA2 that the Wi-Fi Alliance has introduced to make it easier for people to use and set up Wi-Fi in home and small office environments, there's also WPS, Wi-Fi Protected Setup. This was introduced for convenience. It's certainly not introduced for security. It's not meant to make things more secure. And it was introduced some time ago in 2006. The Wi-Fi Alliance considered it too burdensome to require that the shared key be entered on each device that wanted to use a Wi-Fi network. Even if this just had to be done once and then after that it would be remembered, somehow this was considered to be too troublesome. Even though it could be just as simple as entering a passphrase in each of these devices, that was still not easy enough. Alright, so then what easier methods were introduced? 4 methods were introduced in WPS to simplify the joining of a Wi-Fi network. 2 of the main methods that are found in most of the implementations are to push a button on the router to accept a joining request. What this means is that it's like you push a button on the router and then you make your request to join. So within a few minutes of pushing this button, the router will accept whatever request it receives. Seems a bit not secure. Well, what if an attacker's also trying to join and then wait for you to push the button and then the attacker can join? Alright, but anyway, that's beside the point. So then there's also the 8-digit numerical PIN that can be used. And we'll talk about these 2 methods. First, here's an example of a user interface on a Windows machine where you have the push button alternative of WPS. So at the point where the user would typically have to enter the security key, instead of entering the security key, the user could just push this button on the router, and then magically there'll be some signaling that happens in the background, and then this device becomes connected to the network. The security key would be set up on this network without the user having to actually type it in. The method with the 8-digit PIN is as follows. The WPS enabled device, let's say like the router, would then come with an 8-digit PIN. These might be hard-coded into a router so that it's not changeable, and often you might find it written on a sticker on the router or something like that. Then based on that, then when you try to add devices to the network, you go look for this PIN on your router, and then you go to your device and you enter this 8-digit PIN rather than your chosen passphrase. I suppose that Wi-Fi Alliance considered this to be more convenient than even entering a passphrase on whatever device that wants to join the network. But a hard-digit PIN, and also the PIN is consisting of digits. So there's only 8 digits, and each of them has 10 possibilities, 10 possible values. 0, 1 to 9, right? So the immediate thought is that, well, you could maybe brute force this PIN. But when you think about it, okay, so how many combinations are there? It might at first appear that you would need 10 million combinations because you have 8 digits, each of which can take 10 different values. So you just consider 10 to the 8, right? That is if this 8-digit PIN was implemented securely. However, there is a very serious flaw in the way that WPS implements this 8-digit PIN, because it checks the first 4 digits and returns an answer whether it's correct or not basically, and it returns that. So you could actually brute force the first 4 digits first. You try all 10,000 combinations of the first 4 digits, find the right first 4 digits, and then reuse this correct first 4 digits together with your attempts to guess the last 4 digits. So that means that you're brute forcing the remaining 1,000 combinations for the remaining 4 digits. So you only need 11,000 attempts rather than 10 million. So that's much easier than 10 million. Clearly, this is not a secure way of doing things, so we don't recommend using WPS. Many people recommend turning off WPS if your router enables you to turn off WPS.